YouTube fooled around, and now they are finding out in their pocketbook. Oh, hey, you looking for a rent down in Florida? Well, come on down. There's a whole lot of them for a very interesting reason. And NFL halftime show. What? A complete joke. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. Good morning. It's the Jay Sheldon Show. That's this guy. Hello there, America. Hello, world, wherever you may be watching the show, either live right now on X and Rumble, or perhaps watching the VOD later on in the day, watching the replay. Whatever the case, be sure to hit the follow button. It's both on X and on Rumble, of course. And by the way, you know, I've been telling you about our new Locals account. You can join up with Locals. Costs you $5-6 a month. It's like less than the price of a cup of coffee. And you will get access to what we call the Jay Sheldon Show, the After Hours. And it's a no-holds-barred, in-your-face discussion of stuff we talk about on the show, stuff we haven't yet done on the show. We're a little more loose. We're a little more vulgar. And it's a lot of fun. So you can join us over there. But I realize while I have a live audience on Rumble where that join button is down over here, that red button says join, that's how you get over to Locals. On Twitter, you don't have that access. Now, what I need to do is to be putting that in the show notes so that Twitter also gets a chance to hit the button. But if you're on Twitter and you really want to help support the show, go to Rumble, look up the Jay Sheldon Show, watch us over there, and that will give you the chance to hit that red join button and get some behind-the-scenes stuff. All right, enough pushing of your little local channel, Jay. Let's talk about something substantial, like the fact that YouTube fooled around, and now they're finding out to the tune of huge sums of money to Donald J. Trump after the Biden-era censorship. Look, Don Trump is already rich, but he just keeps getting richer thanks to these companies that he sues for censorship and libel. Remember, Paramount Global, $16 million settlement for CBS News deceptively editing Kamala Harris's interview. Meta forked over $25 million for suspending Trump's Facebook and Instagram accounts. ABC News, $15 million because of the hopelessly biased anchor George Stephanopoulos defaming him by saying he'd been found liable for rape, which was false. Twitter, now X, right here on the platform we're live on, one of two, that and Rumble. They ponied up $10 million for suspending his account. Now, that's all before we have the X that we have today. This was Twitter pre-Elon Musk. Joe Biden, Barack Obama, struggling to come up with funding for their presidential libraries. Trump apparently is off to a very fast start, but much of that settlement money comes from the donations to his future archives. As Crocodile Dundee used to say in the 80s commercials pitching Australian tourism, let's put another shrimp on the barbie. YouTube has settled with the president for $25 million. $25 million of the haul will be given on Trump's behalf to the Trust for the National Mall, the nonprofit formed to fund construction of the president's new $200 million White House ballroom. Hitting him in the wallet, that's what it's all about. That is the only thing these people understand. Money, 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 money. So take some from them. In fact, take a lot of some from them. $2.5 million of the settlement going to other plaintiffs. Nonprofit American Conservative Union. YouTube, like a whole bunch of other big tech companies, forced to eat crow after they ruthlessly censored and canceled accounts that disagreed with the Biden party line on subjects like COVID, January 6th, other things old Joe and his team didn't like. I mean, what did Joe know? He was so freaking out of it. But his team, the people who were really running the country. Now, it is good these companies are finally getting some comeuppance. It's been very well documented by the House Judiciary Committee. Others, they put very heavy pressure on these companies to toe the line. Many conservatives, right-of-center sites, very, very badly impacted by censorship, throttling, which is where social medias make this content available to just a very small audience or doesn't promote your show at all, which is what happens with my show over on YouTube. I don't care. I just put the show up there, post-recorded, for anybody who wants to happen because you use the platform. So that's fine. It's there if you want it. Red State, great news site, certainly affected. For those of you fans at the time stuck with us, we appreciate that support. For a long time, it seemed that America had lost its collective mind. They just lost it. Gratifying to see that turnaround, slowly but surely, to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. Oh, there is some justice in the world. Nice to see. $25 million. Now, to be fair, $25 million from YouTube, it's a drop in the bucket. It's like figuring out if you want a second cup of coffee. But it's still $25 million. So good. A House Democrat has found out that she crossed the wrong dad during a field hearing on victims of crime. We talked, by the way, Miko's in the studio with me and the door is locked, so at some point I may have to get up and go let her out. But she wanted to come in, so I did. Miko, you doing all right? You want to go out? You want to go out? No, not that kind of out. She wants to go for a walk. You want to leave the studio? Okay, give me a second. I just got to get up for a minute. You want to go out? There you go. Okay, be a good girl. Okay, I made it. Sorry. Hey, we're live. What are you going to do? We talked about it before. The murder in August of 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee Irina Zaruska, Charlotte's light rail system, allegedly at the hands of a violent repeat offender who was let free. And it has created a ripple effect at all levels of government. Amidst President Trump's national crackdown on crime. Oh, sorry, Danny, she's already gone. Anyway, Republicans in the House and Senate have introduced legislation dealing with, among other things, strengthening transit crime reporting and oversight. On Monday, the House Judiciary Committee on Oversight held a field hearing at a Charlotte courthouse. And they were talking about victims of crimes. Wanted to hear stories from the families of the victims. Advocate for things that need to be done to prevent crime. Hold violent career criminals and their woke enablers to account. Well, things didn't go so well that day for Representative Deborah Ross, a Democrat from North Carolina. During the opening remarks she gave at the hearings, she managed to confuse the names and the images of two of the victims whose stories were being told. When they told the stories, they put up these giant pictures of the victims. Here's from this Deborah Ross representative. Before I get started, I also want to express my deepest condolences to the family of Irina Zaruska. What happened to her is simply unimaginable and unconscionable, and I hope that we will take to heart her family's request not to remember her by her last moments or politicize her death, but instead to remember her as the vibrant and exceptional kind of person she was. And I'm thrilled that we have a picture of her in that state right in front of us. But it was not Zarutska in the photo. It was 22-year-old murder victim Logan Federico from Waxhaw, North Carolina, who was killed in May visiting friends in South Carolina. Her father, Stephen, a witness who was sitting at the table behind Federico's photo, corrected Ross the first chance he got, and Ross, in turn, apologized profusely.
Long before this hearing, particularly... Oh, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Okay? I am so sorry. This is Logan Federico. Thank you so much for bringing that. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I am so sorry for you. I'm so sorry for your loss, and my heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to you.
Yeah, that sounded real sincere, lady. Making matters worse for her was when it was Mr. Federico's turn to testify. He gave one of the most emotional, powerful speeches, sharing some of the horrific details of Logan's final moments and pointing out that her alleged killer, 30-year-old Alexander Dickey, had been arrested nearly 40 freaking times prior to allegedly murdering his daughter, who Mr. Federico said wanted to be a teacher. At one point, Mr. Federico again addressed Ross and made sure that she knew his daughter's name. Her name is Logan Federico, not Irna. Federico said as he pointed to Logan's picture while looking at Ross, "And you will not forget her, I promise you. You will be sick and tired of my face and my voice until this gets fixed. I will fight to my last breath for my daughter," Mr. Federico vowed. He also told them they needed to stop protecting people who took innocent victims like his daughter from us. Do we have the... We do. This is a lengthy clip. I don't know how much of this I'm going to air, but it is well worth the time.
Visiting friends at the University of South Carolina. How many of y'all have kids? I'm just curious. Here's what I need you to do. When I tell you this story, think about your kids. Think about your child coming home from a night out with their friends, laying down, going to sleep, feeling somebody come in the room and wake them, and drag her out of bed, naked, forced on her knees, with her hands over her head, begging for her life, begging for her hero, her father, me, that couldn't be there. She was 5'3". She weighed 115 pounds. Bang! Dead. Gone. Why? Because Alexander Devontae Dickey, who was arrested 39 goddamn times, 25 felonies, was on the street. How about that? How good are we doing for our family? How good are you doing for your kids? He should have been in jail for over 140 years for all the crimes he committed. You know how much time he spent in prison? a little over 600 days in 10 years. He's only 30 years old. He was committing 2.65 crimes a year since he was 15 years old, but nobody could figure out that he couldn't be rehabilitated. Well, you'd have to put him in prison to see if he could be rehabilitated. Isn't that the idea of prison? But no, my daughter wanted to be a teacher. She finally figured it out 2 weeks before she was executed. And I haven't heard a damn word from Byron Gibson in South Carolina. Not one word. 4 months, no communication. His biggest concern was that he was pissed off about my interview and how I made him look on the Fox News channel with Trey Gowdy. How pathetic is that? That we're letting our 22-year-old kid visiting friends. It's all she ever wanted to do was visit friends. And she literally was executed while on her knees begging for her life.
Wow. Like he said, you will not forget me and you will not forget her. I think that just about says it all. Unbelievable. All right. Maybe it's time to move south. Not a bad idea. Florida, anybody? Well, if you decide you want to move to Florida, believe me, there are a lot of places available to rent. And you know why? Because of something called out-migration. One of the unexpected but hugely good effects of ICE and this deportation of all these criminals in our country, which has been and is currently continuing to go on, a lot of people are self-deporting. Now, Florida has a lot of illegal immigrants, mainly because it's Florida, a lot of them from Cuba. But because so many people have decided to deport themselves, all these rentals are now open. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And that applies not only to Newtonian physics, it also applies to rental markets, like housing. Doral, Florida, it's a suburb of Miami, heavily populated with Venezuelan immigrants. Some of them are citizens, some are here in the country legally. Great, welcome. Hope you help to contribute to the nation. Some, however, are not here legally. According to the piece in Monday's Wall Street Journal, some of these people are leaving Doral in no small part because of Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration, and it results in a spike in Doral's rental housing vacancy rate. And that's a really good thing. 2-story terracotta roof home in a gated community known as Doral Landings East seemed like the ideal Venezuelan family of 4 who moved in 2 years ago. Nice place for them. Neighbors surprised when one day the family just disappeared. Skipping out on rent, the landlord said, leaving a lot of their furniture and belongings behind, they were just gone. One by one, Venezuelans and other immigrants are starting to disappear from Doral on the doorstep of the Everglades, known for the Trump resort where President Trump plans to host the G20 summit next year. A lot of Venezuelans are there with temporary legal permission to live and work in the U.S. Now, part of that series of immigration programs that was expanded under the idiot Biden administration. Trump, his administration, trying to revoke that permission, leaving more than 1 million foreigners from a whole lot of different countries in some kind of legal limbo. Many, not all, but many seem certain that they are here illegally. And among the estimated 10 to 20 million people in the U.S. illegally, that is an important distinction that the Wall Street Journal article did not make. People who are in the country legally, particularly a family of 4, just don't decamp in the middle of the night, leaving all their possessions behind, unless they have some reason to fear being deported. In other words, they likely were not here legally. But wait, there's more. Few, if any, places in the U.S. are feeling the effects of the immigration policy change more acutely than in Doral, where 40% of its 80,000 residents were born in Venezuela or are of Venezuelan descent. 40%. Some have lived here for decades, eventually have become American citizens, having American-born children. Others more recently that have arrived built lives here over the past few years under government temporary programs. Temporary means not forever. Why would you even set yourself up in some sort of long-term rental thing if you know you're only here on a temporary program? Now, for those Venezuelans who study here, became citizens, raising families, paying taxes, welcome. More power to you. But your illegal alien compadres are going home. Remember I said this was a good thing. It is a good thing because this will, sooner or later, drive down some prices in the multifamily rental housing. Those options often used by people of modest means, people that Democrats always claim to care about, and the surplus of housing eventually will lower the price of rentals. The vacancy rate increases, the price is going to have to come down, which is how you attract renters and how you keep renters. And yes, that is a very good thing. In the article in the Wall Street Journal, it says, "They're all telling me, no, I can't stay. My temporary status is expiring," says Maria Eugenia Nuciente, a Venezuelan-American real estate agent who's been working in Doral for decades. In March, she lost a Venezuelan tenant who moved to Italy. Doral's mayor, Republican Christy Fraga, says the rise in vacancies reflects a mix of factors through immigrants leaving the city because they're fearful of being picked up by federal agents. I do personally know of some families that have self-deported, their status unsure, and they didn't want to be here illegally. I'm sure it'll affect the housing market to a certain extent. Their status was unsure? Listen, I have traveled around the world. I am currently on the other side of it from you. Extended stays in many countries. And no matter where, even to this very moment, after 22 years in this country, I still know exactly what my visa status is. And I recognize the fact that I am here under the good graces of the Immigration Department, who at any time can decide they just don't want me here anymore and throw me out. 20 over years in one spot, building a life, paying my taxes, and at the whim of an immigration officer who happened to be having a bad day or didn't get enough coffee this morning, I could be gone. That is a scary, scary position to be in, trust me. I've been living it. But I know what my status is, and I know when it's about to expire, and I get prepared in case something happens and I have to leave. You know when you're arriving, you know when you're leaving, you know what your flights are. And woe to anybody who overstays. Not my problem, says the government, and it's not. It is your problem. It is your responsibility as an immigrant to know what your status is. Nobody else's. If you're unsure, then go home. Homeland Security will give you a plane ticket in a New York minute. Cool grand even to self-deport if you want. $1,000 to self-deport and a plane ticket. Not a bad deal. And meanwhile, in the communities where they are leaving in droves, we get cheaper rental rates, which sounds like a big win-win to me. Oh, man. The Super Bowl halftime show is going to be an absolute joke. And we will tell you why after we tell you about one of my favorite sponsors, Patriot Mobile.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever. Every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
PatriotMobile.com/J, J-A-Y. That is the link to use. It's in our show notes if you forget. How could you forget? That's as easy as it could be. PatriotMobile.com/JAYJ. Joining Patriot Mobile is as easy as 1, 2, 3. You just give them a call or log on to the website, get the eSIM, self-activate, connect, and boom, you are done. You keep your phone, you keep your phone number, unlimited talk and text, US-based support that are there to help you get in the best plan for your needs. A lot of times they'll even save you money on a plan. Coverage is guaranteed, and this company supports our Christian conservative values. If you have not made the switch, what are you waiting for? PatriotMobile.com/J. And when you sign up using that link, you get a month free, absolutely free on me. From Patriot Mobile, your first month is free when you use our link, PatriotMobile.com/J. All righty. Are you ready? Oh, no. Where'd it go? Okay, sorry. I'm doing a bit of juggling here, so you got to bear with me, okay? The NFL's Super Bowl halftime show has seen the likes of every enormous rock star, pop star, you name it, they have done the Super Bowl halftime show. Well, this year's pick is about as bad as it gets. You think I'm kidding? It's this guy. And if you're saying, who's that guy? That is exactly what I said. The selection of a guy called Bad Bunny to headline the 2026 Super Bowl is simply a thumb in the eye to the American electorate that has rejected leftist politics. The NFL has just dug its grave a little deeper. into gay race communications Sunday with the announcement that uber left-wing rapper-singer Bad Bunny will be the featured performer of the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. Bad Bunny says, "What I'm feeling goes beyond myself." Otherwise, he's known as Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio. He said in a statement, "It's for those who came before me and ran countless yards so I could come in and score a touchdown. It's for my people, my culture, our history. Ve y dile a tu Abduela que seremos el halftime show del Super Bowl. Go tell your grandma we're going to be on the Super Bowl halftime show." So, like me, you find yourself asking, who in the hell is Bad Bunny? Well, you and I are not alone. The dress-wearing Puerto Rican may hold a little broader international appeal, but the NFL's selecting him to headline the most televised event in America is about as niche as its decision to feature rapper Kendrick Lamar at the concert earlier this year. Certainly possible the pick may have to do with the NFL's committed goal of expanding their reach into markets outside the United States. Also not hard to see the move as a finger poke in the eye to you and I. But here's some of the comments Bad Bunny has made. "I highly doubt the type of gringos I don't F with listen to me. Those were all the people at the Super Brown who were pissed off about how Latino the halftime show was." Earlier this month, this moron confirmed his recent decision to not tour in America, involving his concerns that Immigration and Customs Enforcement would use his concert venues to target foreign nationals who might be here illegally. He says, "Many reasons I didn't show up in the U.S. None of them were out of hate. I've performed there many times. All of the shows have been successful and all have been magnificent. I've enjoyed connecting with Latinos who are living in the U.S. Do we have, where's the other, the red state one. In case you want to know what this guy's persona is, there he is in some sort of, I don't know, is that a dress? Open back? Very nice. Lovely. Oh, there he is. Anti-Trump and anti-ICE singer Bad Bunny to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. Selected to perform at the Super Bowl amid his past social media posts criticizing ICE. I'd say pink is not your color, Bad Bunny.
I'm never performing in the U.S. again. I'm scared that ICE might raid the venue outside my show. And honestly, I can't risk the safety of my fans like that. Mainland America just doesn't feel necessary to me anymore. I've already performed there plenty of times. Fans in the U.S. have had lots of chances to see me live. That being said, I still care deeply about my Latino and Puerto Rican fans living in the States. Seeing me perform in Puerto Rico is always an option. That's why in my upcoming world tour, there are no stops in the continental U.S. This isn't about hate, it's about responsibility and respect.
Yeah, you don't have any, okay? Neither. And there you go. That is the man who will lead your 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. How about that? Danny says, I've watched football for 25 years, always a great drug to unwind and get away. Politics completely taken that away, chipping off more and more and more. Exactly. So, Bad Bunny, enjoy. That'll be fun. Not. The Democrat freakout, which is really, when you dig away through all the layers of crap, simply about desperation. Apparently the Bard must be MAGA, because he sure knew how to assess the left's current hysterical media meltdown. He said, Shakespeare, "It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing." Everywhere you look, it is over-the-top hyperbole from every Democrat legislator, Democrat pundit, Democrat mutant. Lots of high-pitched squealing about fascism and racism, and Trump is trying to be a king, and how he's a Nazi, and blah, 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 blah. I love those videos on X. They give me such a laugh. Obviously, it's all nonsense. Obviously, it's all very coordinated. And obviously, the memo went out that social media needs to turn it up to about an 11. And the cable commies are just going to keep pumping up the volume as well. Here's an important question, though. Does it even matter? I don't think so. Is anybody listening to these people? Now, certainly they are all over my timeline. I cannot open X that I don't see 1,000 of them promising some authoritarian apocalypse. Trump continuing to deliver exactly what he promises. Remembering correctly, DJT promised, for example, that he was going to deport illegal aliens, and lo and behold, he's actually doing it. Maybe the fact he's keeping his word is what really offends these politicians, not the substance of the keeping. He also promised he was going to seek righteous retribution against the people who wronged him through lawfare. As that looming doofus found out, Comey, gotta be happy that the feds don't release booking photos, because there is no way he would have looked as good as that iconic Trump booking photo did. It goes without saying, their claims are substantively absolute and utter nonsense, and hypocritical, to say the least. In fact, it's kind of uncool to dwell on that. I mean, that it hurts our dignity to focus on pointing out all the ways in which Trump is not literally Hitler, or complaining about the Democrats refusing to admit the link between their unrelenting campaigns of legal slash and burn against Donald Trump and those associated with America First and their current karma overload. Instead of crying about the injustice of it all, we should focus on bringing justice. Unlubed payback they are just beginning to feel, and certainly will feel a lot more in the future down the road. What'll happen next? Going to be ribbed for their pleasure. We all know the score, and we are going beyond arguing that the Democrats are deceitful, hypocritical. We're into the territory of simply kicking their ass. Normal people still need to hear it, though. Normals have actual lives that normally don't include much, if any, politics. So we have got to continue to highlight these pinko hypocrisies. We got to continue to supply the missing facts for the normies. who may not know exactly the details of why Democrats are full of crap. We don't want to just pretend we're scandalized or shocked because of it. If after a decade of this you are still scandalized or shocked, instead of coldly furious, dedicated to defeating them, well, you are weak and soft, and you belong not in the front ranks with the warriors, but at the back of the crowd with the camp followers. If you do, you have a function. It is not being part of the fight if you're not willing. Your function is more like washing the figurative blood off of our tunics. But do the normies fall prey to the rhetorical spasm of the enemies? Is the Dems' plan of attack, which seems to be screaming at the top of their lungs about everything all the time, how effective is that strategy? There's no real polling on that point. Trump's polls at this juncture seem pretty good compared to other presidents. Anecdotes, evidence only of anecdotes. But that's all really that we have at this moment. What do the normies in your world say? I have yet to encounter anybody who looked at me with a straight face and said, well, Trump's clearly trying to be a king. These outrages just don't seem to be so outrageous. And they just don't hit the way the Democrats hope they will hit home. They don't. We don't care anymore. It's pathetic. They got nothing else. They're done. They don't have the White House. They don't have Congress. They don't have SCOTUS. They don't have a media monopoly anymore. And worst of all, they don't even have the extra constitutional fourth branch of government, the deep state. Not the way they used to, because Trump 2.0 knows exactly what time it is and is ruthlessly seeking to gut it, and they are succeeding. It's tiresome. Their plan is to put the pedal to the metal, and just like Thelma and Louise, they're going to go right off the edge. I wish them luck. It ain't working anymore. Stick a fork in yourself. You are done. Danny, what did you write? You got a book going on here. Funny story, AJ somehow sent a location emergency on my phone yesterday. Emergency called, and AJ started recording their convo while I was in the back, raging to my in-laws about ice. 1 minute, 17 seconds. I can't believe she sat that long listening to my rant about politics. I finally heard a voice on call and started apologizing. No need for the cops or EMS. I felt so bad. Locked phones, as you found out, are not 100% locked. And in fact, there is a safety reason for that. So even if your phone is locked, you can still call an emergency number if you have an emergency and you can't unlock the phone. But you know, in most departments I know of, the protocol, even if you've explained it, is they will still send an officer to your door for a welfare check. So I don't know whether that happened or not, but man. Unbelievable. A couple of good news stories before we head out of here. A veteran and his family have been given a home after losing everything they owned, including the house, to Hurricane Ian. A veteran and his family received a gift of a lifetime Friday in Venice, Florida, after the 2022 hurricane took their home. Unbelievable. Lots of people showed up to welcome the veteran and his family. I got a safe place to get back to track on my healing. Pretty difficult to try and do any of that stuff when you're living in a motorhome in a driveway, trying to figure out where you can live, and now we know. We get to be a part of the community and a part of that journey. Take a look at this as they are moving into their new home.
So American flags and smiling faces lining a neighborhood in Welland Park this morning. There were cheers as they welcomed home retired technical sergeant Daniel Beesting and his family. Beesting's already given so much for our country with his service.
But nearly 3 years ago, Hurricane Ian took even more from them. And as Fox 13's Kimberly Quizon reports, two groups and many people made sure the Beesting family would not go without.
It's a homecoming that has been long awaited. For retired Technical Sergeant Daniel Beesting and his family, Welland Park is now home.
It's so nice to be back in a place I can put holes in the wall. I'm so excited because, I mean, it's just been a nightmare.
Beesting served nearly 10 years in the United States Air Force, joining right after September 11th, putting his life on the line for our country. Technical Sergeant Beesting was medically retired and remains 100% disabled. As he returned to civilian life in September of 2022, Hurricane Ian changed everything.
You know, we just were trying to live our lives, and then that storm came and just ruined every bit of them, and we've just been trying to hang on for 3 years and get through this.
Their home was completely destroyed. As they lived in an RV on their property, Pulte Group's Built to Honor program, along with building homes for heroes, learned of what they went through. The two groups went to work, building the Beesting family a new mortgage-free home.
It's about being a part of something bigger than themselves. It's about knowing that they're giving back to those who have given so much for our freedom, sacrificed so much.
It's a new start for a family that has sacrificed so much.
Oh, I get a safe place to get back on my track healing, because it's pretty difficult to try to do any kind of that stuff when you're doing things like living in a motorhome in the driveway and trying to figure out where you're going to live. So now we know, and we get to be part of a community.
And a community that honors those who sacrifice and serve our country.
There's no...
Wow. Unbelievable. They are true overcomers with the help of an entire community. They've had challenges. Their attitude, their disposition has been fantastic all along. They took part in the groundbreaking back in May, and now they have moved into their new house. Some great, great news. All right, one last one, and this is weird. When I say the word Sean Penn, I know, my eyes roll into the back of my head. But, to be fair, there isn't much of anything Sean Penn has done in the latter part of his life that I've agreed with. Stuff he says, he's one of those Hollywood leftist commie liberals, like every one of them out there. Well, 98% of them. But believe it or not, Sean Penn says we need people like Charlie Kirk in politics to improve the debate. This is a headline I really never expected to see, ever. Hollywood actor Sean Penn has mourned the loss of conservative dynamo Charlie Kirk, saying we need people like him to inspire vigorous debate while respecting opposing viewpoints. I'm impressed. In an interview with the New York Times, he said he disagreed with almost everything Kirk believed in, but he still held firm to the Democratic belief that we need people like Kirk to promote frank, open discussion on social issues. Quoting Penn, he said, "We need that debate. We're going to fight it out, find a compromise. Acts of political violence do come into fashion, and the way we kill the fashion of its people of conscience on both sides, recognizing that if somebody really believes something, that's your friend." 65-year-old guy added mutual respect and understanding for opposing viewpoints is essential to living in a free society. And people need to start recognizing different viewpoints as valid opinions. Sean Penn. Yeah, that guy. I am amazed. Wow. Denny says, "I was waiting for our #1 sheriff in town to pop up. I'm assuming they saw my name and that's why he didn't stop by." You mean you're that well known to the one sheriff in town? Not sure if that's good news or not. Oh, Manischewitz. All right. We're going to shuffle on out of here for today. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow live on X and Rumble. Be sure and hit the follow button, and if you can find it in your heart to help support the show, hit that over on Rumble only. Hit that red join button. Sign up. Costs you a little money, but it's damn cheap, $5-6 a month. Or you can make a one-time donation if you want of, several $100 if you want to. We appreciate that. We really appreciate that. Helps keep the show going, keeping it all free. And you get behind-the-scenes content you cannot see anywhere else, including a brand new segment we call the After Hours. 2-3 times a week we'll be uploading a show. Can be an hour, could be 15 minutes, whatever. It's there on Locals. There's 2.5 episodes right now. And we encourage you to join up and help to support the show over there on Locals. That red join button somewhere along here. Okay, I'm done self-promoting. Thank you for those of you who help promote the show and who help support the show. No, I'm good. Our town is just that small that we take Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners to them every year. Honestly, I knew this already, but you are the sweetest woman on the planet, other than my mom, okay, who is 90 and, yes, still going strong. I'll see you all. How about tomorrow? Would that work for you? All right. 10 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. We'll see you on the Jay Sheldon Show.